Hi guys. So Burp Collaborator client is a tool for making use of Burp Collaborator during manual testing. You can use the Collaborator client to generate payload for use in manual testing and poll the Collaborator server for any network interaction that result from using those payloads. So basically, Burp Collaborator client work as a client for the Burp Collaborator server. Like Burp, you can create payloads from Burp Collaborator server, and you can use those servers for your testing, manual testing. And if there is any network interaction on those payload, you can check these in Burp Collaborator client. So uh, we will check this in okay practical. So basically, uh, this is a professional function. You cannot use this function on your community edition. You will need to buy a professional Burp Suite license to use this function, or you can use another alternative to this. But I will suggest you to buy Burp Suite Professional. Basically, this we are using professional version, so we can use this. So you have to go on Burp and click on the Collaborator client. So I already opened this Collaborator client. I have some interaction, network interaction here. So basically, how I get this network interaction? First of all, I tell you something about this. So this is the first option, number to generate. Okay, so you can type the number how many payloads you want to generate. Like I want to generate only one, so I just click on one. I just enter one and copy to clipboard. Click on copy to clipboard, and there is option to include collaborator server location or not. Like every payload have a collaborator server location. It's like burpcollaborator.net. Okay, and the payload is like this: AUID, unique identification number. Okay, so the next function is poll collaborator interaction. So in with this function you can set the time interval to fetch the data from the collaborator server. Like if I select 15 seconds, so the data will be fetched after 15 seconds from the collaborator server. Now I will set the time interval to the 60 second, so the poll will be work after 60 second. But I will use the least value like the 1 second, so this can work after 1 second and I can get the data after 1 second. Also you can click on this to check the documentation for the Burp Collaborator client. In the in the Burp Collaborator client, there are following functions are available. You can generate a specific number of collaborator payloads and copy those to clipboard. You can use these in manual testing, for example burp intruder or repeater. So as I told you, you can generate as many payload as you want. I just click on I just enter 100 and I copy these to clipboard, and now I just paste this in notepad. You can check I created 100 and I paste it here. So you can use these payloads in your manual testing for blind RCE, SSRF brute forcing, and many other type of bug testing. So basically, if you want to learn more about the Burp Collaborator, you can move on to this article. Here you can learn about some tricks about the Burp Collaborator. Also, I will teach these tricks in course if I get some time for the next videos. Okay, so let's have a practical testing time on this project option, miscellaneous, and yeah, you can check Burp Collaborator server. So we are using a default Burp Collaborator server. It's public. Many times there is chances of a program or the website have blocked the collaborator server, so you can't get the requests. Okay, if you are using your private server, you can bypass that filter. you can run the health check here. Okay, so if I just run a health check here, you can check the Burp Collaborator client is working fine. Also, you can restore defaults, load option, and save options. I don't think it's useful, like we are not using any settings here, but it can be for you because you may be using too many private servers, so you need to save the settings, or you can load that settings. So let's move on the practical part of the Burp Collaborator client. So I opened a browser tab. In this, I open up Bata India. So what's basically I'm going to do is I just want to generate some traffic here. So I just close this and open the Collaborate client again, and I copy a new payload. Basically I want a new payload so I can check the interaction and delete all these, and I paste it here. I put it as a email ID. Yeah, I used one @ payload, and I just click on the subscribe. You have been subscribed. Maybe let me check if they sent something to me. Pull down. I don't think they sent something. Let's try to sign up. I just search for the Bata sign up login. Okay, let's search about the login. Okay, I am already logging in. Okay, I logged out. So it's asking me for name, phone number. I just paste it here. One at the rate. I paste it here. Type your password. I just type a simple password. I don't need phone number. I think we need a mobile number, but wait, I didn't use a mobile number last time. Bata login. So let me check. Okay, I just click on the sign up now. Yeah, you can see login function here. I just put it here and type a password and re-enter that password and submit. So basically I just use that payload as an email with one. Okay, so yeah, we have pull time 1 second, so it's pulled out every request we are making with this payload. So with this payload we have made some DNS requests like AAA and A type, 4 time A, and a MX, and a SMTP request. So in the SMTP request, it's basically email from Bata, a registration email. This is how Collaborator client work. If you enter that payload into something and it interacts with the server, it will show that network interaction in the client. Okay, so that's how Collaborator client works. There are some limitation in Burp Collaborator client too. Like each time Collaborator client window opens in separate context in which payload can be generated or pulled for. There is no cross stall for payload or interaction between separate client windows. Hence, if you have closed a client window, there is no way to retrieve any further interaction resulting from its payload. Like if I just close this window, client window, I cannot pull more requests from this payload because it will close the interactions and I cannot basically enter that or check that interactions again. So it's a one time root, or you can say. Also, Burp Collaborator client window is tied to Collaborator server configuration that is placed in the time window was opened. If you modify your Collaborator server setting, for example, to use a different private Collaborator server, you will need to open a new client window to use that configuration. Basically, if you are using Burp Collaborator and you change the settings, you have to reopen that client to make the changes in the settings. So these are some limitations of Burp Collaborator client. So there are some extensions we can use for the Burp Collaborator client, like Turborator. I will explain Turborator in the extension section. So I think that's all for Burp Collaborator client. If you want to learn about the Burp Collaborator in theory, you can read this article. It's a cool article about the Burp Collaborator. I mostly explained this in video, but if you still want to read this, I will put these links in the course. So that's all for this video. Thank you guys.